Hello, it's Gimbo, your second favorite voice owner. Season 2 of Rings of Power premiered a while ago now, but much like with processed food and alcohol, with Rings of Power you have to watch your daily dosage. Today we take a look at episode 2. Without further ado, let's get into it. We start off strong with a dwarf scene. No amount of mirrors can fix the brightness of this scene, so I'm fixing it for your convenience. Suddenly there is a seismic malfunction and the light goes off. Time for the intro. It takes 10 minutes this time. First thing we see is Galadriel with Finrod. It's good to see his acting is as lively as it was in season 1.
Do you know why a ship floats and a stone cannot? Because the stone sees only stone.
Then it turns out to be another disturbing vision. We snap back to the elf leaders discussing their plan for attack. Galadriel is starting to have second thoughts about the ring.
Since the wearing of this ring, I have perceived glimpses of the unseen world.
The story takes us to Eregion, where Halbrand is denied entry and cannot speak to Celebrimbor. His horse is there, also. Let's not forget the horse. Celebrimbor still has no idea who Halbrand really is, but he will soon have a chance to learn it.
He must be informed that Halbrand is Sauron.
Alright, he will not have a chance to learn it. We now jump to the badass looking villain riding a horse. Let's take a moment and appreciate the beauty of some of these shots. I think it is top tier cinematography, and Rings of Power actually has nothing to be ashamed of here. There is a new realm to be explored here with an interesting aesthetic. Immediately we are treated to some gruesome injuries and moths, not a fan of either. This goes on for a while, but eventually this individual respawns, and the Dark Wizard is not content with their work.
Perhaps the blood I wasted to bring you before me should have been spent on blood.
They even say the word.
When my most powerful acolyte. NANI?
Soon, the badass-looking villains close in on the stranger and these two, but they can't see the Harfoots despite standing about 3 inches away. This is probably how their POV looks like. We're back underground now. Dwarves are fixing up after the earthquake. Turns out they can't grow crops anymore because the sunlight shaft collapsed. Fortunately, Disa is here, so instead of having to hire expensive engineers, the dwarves can attempt to fix the problem by singing. This goes about as good as expected. Meanwhile, Durin is having a hard time. The other dwarves are bullying him, and the wife is eating all his food. He's in trouble.
Do you think this is about food?
The story now returns to Galadriel. The king doesn't want her to go alone and face Halbrand. He makes a point that Sauron messes with the minds of anyone he interacts with, so she goes to recruit Elrond.
I may be vulnerable to deception.
We see he has a different approach here, as at this point everyone else but Elrond embraced the ring, and he's the only one that seems to see the danger. Then this happens.
Please leave.
Next up, Círdan fondles a fish.
So juicy, sweet.
We go back to the Harfoots, who are abusing an old man in the desert. This eventually ends up annoying him a lot. Meanwhile, Halbrand and his poor horse continue to stand outside Celebrimbor's tower.
Oh. Well, at least it's not raining.
Eventually, the elf gives in, and Halbrand proves to be quite the diplomat. Soon he's eating stew next to a fireplace. 5 minutes later, and Celebrimbor is basically his property. Halbrand makes his case to add more rings, this time for the men, and then...
The darkness is growing stronger, and the Rings of Power are our last hope of restoring the light.
He said it! He said it!
And then, you wouldn't believe what happens then.
The Lord of the Rings.
There it is! There it is!
Okay, that was nice. Celebrimbor is fully sold at this point, and you just know there will be trouble. The episode is coming to an end. Elrond and Galadriel are setting out for Eregion. Durin receives a letter to come there as well, and that's it. Overall, this episode seems much better than the first one. That is not saying much, but at least the story continues, and I'm kind of looking forward to watching the third one. If you like or dislike this format, please leave a comment, and I will catch you in the third episode. Goodbye.